What's up everyone, welcome back to my channel Reef RX. Hope you guys are all doing well. Wanted to give you guys an update today on my Waterbox 110.4 along with my Waterbox 60.2. And I also wanted to talk a little bit about my last video I posted about not doing water changes. A lot of you kind of disagreed with that, well a lot of you liked it, so we'll talk a little bit about that and let's get into it. As always, if you guys enjoy my content, if you could please help out the channel by liking this video, sharing and subscribing. It really helps bring this video to other viewers like yourself, as well as leaving some comments. So while we're on the comment subject, let's talk about water changes. How often do you do water changes? Let me know in the comments because I'm curious to know. And how much of a change do you do? So if you do a weekly change, is it 10%? If you do every 6 months, are you doing 10%? Let me know. I want to hear all your feedback. So in the last video I posted, I just kind of talked about doing a low maintenance reef tank for people like myself who don't always have the time to do a water change every single weekend. You know, as mentioned, I don't do water changes often in this tank. I do water changes when I see something is wrong. But generally I don't, and you know, if you've been following me, you know that I had really low potassium in the tank, and everyone said, you know, well that wouldn't have happened if you did water changes. I am very well aware of that, but you know, that's a choice that I choose to make and not do a water change. This is how, you know, I keep my reef tank, but everybody is successful in their own ways in keeping their tank. So the purpose of the whole video was just to show others what I do with, you know, a low maintenance reef tank, maybe for other people out there that can't do a water change every single week. So as you can see, everything is looking really good in the tank. Remember that green bird's nest that was sitting over here that really wasn't doing too well? Well, I fragged it out and got the ugliness out of here. So my corals, my euphyllias on that frag rack over there are ready to almost put into my new tank. Those aren't going to be staying in this tank, and I can see that torch is kind of stinging that bird's nest a little bit, so I got to move it out of there soon. Just a real quick note, I'm trying to I always try to bring you guys better quality videos each week, or when I do post. So I notice, especially when I edit, right, my videos seem really shaky because I use a gimbal and I hold the camera in my hand like with the gimbal. Today I have it on a tripod, which I haven't really used before, and I have the gimbal attached to the tripod. So if you see me moving around a little bit, or not moving around as much, I should say, it's because of that. But if you see me like I just did, I went up instead of down, I'm still really getting used to this gimbal. So I'm doing my best to bring you guys the best quality video I can possibly do. I just do this for fun. I don't get paid for doing this. I just like to talk about my tank. I like to share my success stories, my failure stories. I like to hear from all of you and your feedback. So like, I'm not a professional at recording, definitely not a professional at video editing. There's no surprise there if you've been watching my videos, but I just do what I can to share what I have going on. So I really do hope you guys enjoy it. Speaking of fragging, let me move this thing over real quick. If you remember, I had a really big frag rack in the back over here that was super overgrown. Well, I took the time and I took care of the overgrown frag rack and I fragged everything out. So I have 2 frag racks in the back. I have 2 on the left here with a ton of frags. So I am selling frags. If you are local to Boston, I am south of Boston, about an hour. I'm in the South Shore. If you are near me, hit me up if you're looking for frags. I do have a link in the description for my eBay. I haven't posted any frags on there yet, and to be honest with you, it's really a pain to get pictures of like one individual frag with my phone camera, because usually it'll show like more frags, but on eBay, like if I showed 3 frags in the picture, people are probably thinking they're getting 3. Maybe I'll do a frag pack, but I don't have anything yet. But when I do put stuff on eBay, I will let you guys know. That way you can check out the eBay. But if you're local, or if you want to do a sale like via email, I'll put my email in the description. I can usually do shipping for the most of like $45–50 depending on where you live, or if you're closer, you're usually cheaper. So fragged everything out. That took quite a bit of time, gave me something to do. So I ended up getting a couple more frag racks. So I have a total of 7 frag racks in this tank. I think it looks really cool, and it kind of makes the tank seem bigger because my other frag rack was like a big 8 crate. And now I have like more room, right? So it just looks better. Moved around some of these corals, some of these Montes and banana hammock coral I put up on the top here. Kind of moved that rock around a bit. Other than that, the tank's doing really good. I actually have, you know, speaking of not doing water changes, right, I actually have done a few water changes over the past couple of weeks just to kind of reset things in my tank a little bit. So, you know, that seems to have, everything seems pretty steady, I should say. The things that aren't doing good, and it might be hard to see it, but there's that blasto behind that bird's nest. So that blasto right there is still not doing great. And this other blasto to the right here wasn't really getting, the one in the back's doing great. The one in the front though, that purple green blasto, wasn't really getting a whole lot of light. So I've moved it a bit. So I'll give that some time to see how that does. I did adjust the lighting of my tanks. I bought a power meter. I was, I guess, crazy one day and just bought a power meter. It was on sale, right, 20% off or something. So I'm like, well, this probably won't happen for a while. So I checked power. Power was a little high in my tank. I hadn't checked power since I added my T5 LEDs. I brought down the LED lights a little bit by like 30%. The lighting looks better. The corals actually look happier. And some of it seems to be growing more, and just, you can just really tell the difference. So I think I had a little bit too much light in here. So this frog spawn right there is doing really well. That clownfish, I almost never see that clownfish because he's always in that frog spawn. The other day, actually, I had someone over here buying some corals, and I was, you know, he was asking, I think, about, do I have clownfish and do they host the corals? And I said, oh yeah, I have a clownfish in this tank. I'm like, wait a minute, where is he? And I honestly thought he had jumped or I lost him, because see, right now you don't see him coming out. Well, you do now, but and then it was like 5 minutes later I saw him. I was like, oh, thank God, I still have the clownfish. But yeah, he doesn't really move from there. Tank's doing good, nutrients are doing good. Still, I'll show you the sump in a second. Still not using the skimmer to actually skim, just to bring up the pH. Yeah, that's pretty much it with the tank. I'll give you a quick peek in the sump, because I know if you're like me, I like looking at sump. So for those of you that want to see the sump, you can check it out. Otherwise, I'll be showing you the 60.2 in just a minute. All right, so here we are in the sump. Everything in the sump's doing really good. I don't know if I brought this up in my last video or the one before, but I did add a power head to the back where my dosing lines come in, just to kind of help with the flow, and plus with the refugium, you know, to push some water through there to help bring up the pH. I'm not sure if you guys can see, but I see a ton. I mean, I'm sitting pretty far back right now. I'm sitting on a chair behind this camera, and I see a ton of pods down there. So like, you ever notice like your pod population kind of like, it'll bloom and you'll see a bunch of pods in your glass, and you might go like a month or two without seeing any, then it blooms back again. Well, I'm in that bloom back again session. I see tons of pods on my glass. If I pull out a frag plug to sell to someone, there's a bunch of pods on there. So my mandarin's super happy, really fat and happy. I'm actually looking at him right now above in the display. But yeah, so Fuge is going good. Probably time to harvest some Kato in there. Reef mat's going great as always. Highly recommend that reef mat. I am using the reactor to run some Chemi-Pure through there, and skimmer, like I said, just draining back into the tank. The nitrates are kind of low. So when I say kind of low, they're at like around 2 right now. So, and I haven't actually been skimming stuff for a while. I mean, I'm sure stuff still gets caught up in there. And actually the skimmer's off during the day a lot of the times, because I have it set if the pH is over 8.3 to shut off. So it's off right now, and if I take a look at my dashboard here, my pH is at 8.31. And that's mainly because the weather's getting warmer, so I have the windows open pretty much all day, every day now. So it's more in the winter times and the summer times, winter heat on, summer AC on, that my pH is really low. So everything's going good here. Let's go check out the, oh yeah, and I'm no longer running GFO. I'm done with that. My nutrients got too low. The Fuge and the filter fleece roller is keeping up with everything, and I'm feeding a little bit less. I kind of really used to overfeed, so I feed you a little bit less now. Let's go check out the Waterbox 60.2 and give you the update on that tank. All right, so here we are at the Waterbox 60.2. If you see, I do have a couple of corals, euphyllias on the sand bed here. And the reason why I have them in, usually I wouldn't throw corals in this soon. It's been, I don't know, maybe it's been 2 months since I've had this tank up. And it's actually doing really well. I know I talked a little bit last, look, I'm all over the place, right? I know I talked a little last time about having some like algae bloom in here, but I put a couple zebra snails in the tank, and the algae is gone. So they kept up with it, and I got the fuge going as soon as I started to see the algae. So everything's growing in the sump, all the algae, which is exactly how you want it. Corals are in here because they weren't doing so hot in the other tank. So I threw them in here to see if they do better. On the left here, this hammer coral, I thought was dead. And it's really hard to see. I don't know why this lighting, I think this lighting is harder because it doesn't have any white light. But this hammer's, I think it's a hammer. It's actually coming back to life. It's doing much better. This torch on the side here, it's really hard to tell in the video. It kind of looks like it bleached out overnight. Like, I've never really had a euphyllia bleach. I'm going to check when I'm done doing this video, I'll check the nutrients to make sure my nitrates or phosphates didn't drop too much. And then this other frag over here, I think I got, what do I have? Is that a torch? Looks like a torch. It is doing better than it was. So for fishing here, I only have those 2 clownfish in here, and they're like, I really like these guys, right? So when I come over here, if I put my hand up here, maybe not right now because they know like I'm teasing them, but they always think they know it's feeding time, so they come right up to me. I've never had fish come right up to me, so it's really cool. Even when I walk by the tank, they'll come up to me like if it's towards the afternoon. So right now it's about a little after 2:30 in the afternoon, but if I come up like around 6, they're like, okay, it's food time, he's feeding me. So really cool. I got the Trident set up over here on the left. Oh, wrong way, sorry. And the controller board, I love this whole controller board. The guy that was selling it gave me that with the tank and everything. So Trident's set up and controller board's good, and I'll show you a quick peek in the sump. All right, so here we are in the sump. I would turn on the fuge light like I did in the other one, just for the purpose of the video, but this one's a little bit different and it's not as easy to turn on, so I don't feel like getting frustrated and trying to figure that out. But there is a fuge in the back. It's going pretty good. See if I can zoom in here a bit for you. There you go. So fuge is doing good in the back. Filter fleece roller is doing good. I've had this same roll since I installed it, or set up the tank, I should say, because there really hasn't been a whole lot to pull out of here. And then I did use some media from my other tank to help jumpstart the cycle process here. So I had a feeling I might regret that. Not that I have any pests in the other tank, but I know I had Aptasia, but I never had it in the sump from what I saw. But so far so good. No regrets, no Aptasia. Actually, no Aptasia in either tank because I had the Bergias in the other one, so that's all kind of cleaned out. And that's why my frag racks got so overgrown for a while, because I wasn't selling, because I didn't want to sell some Aptasia. But I feel like a lot of people have Aptasia in the tank. Let me know in the comments if you have Aptasia in the tank. I'm curious how many people out there actually have this problem. Every fish store I go to now that sells corals, I see Aptasia in their tanks, and it's like, yeah, I can't do that again. I already went that path. I do have the Bergia tank right here trying to breed some. So this actually crashed, and it crashed because I had pods in there. It didn't crash, but pods eat Bergia eggs, so clean that out. I do have one Bergia in there, and he's been laying eggs. The other ones died off in the crash, not because of the pods. Maybe there really was a crash, right? But he must have already been fertilized, or he, she, whatever. But it's laying eggs in there, so I'm good. So hopefully I get some Bergias soon. But I think that's going to do it for the update, guys. I appreciate you guys watching as always. Make sure to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe, please, if you're not already subscribed. Hope you guys have a good rest of the day, and I will catch up with you soon. Take care.